Good morning, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started. I can see I'm assuming by the reduced attendance that the plethora of knowledge that we've conveyed in the first two has been enough for some folks. So we have a slide deck here that we're going to run through. It's going to be a little bit of a summary of what we've presented so far. And then our planning department, fire department, police department, and building departments are all here to come and spend some time with you individually and answer any specific questions that you may have about your project or anything maybe general related to their particular fields. I don't have the clicker. Is there a clicker around here? My name is Joe Devlin with the City of Sacramento's Office of Cannabis Policy and Enforcement. And there are a number of staff with me here today. I'll introduce them before we start tabling. So I'm going to run through this pretty quickly and then maybe see if we can hold questions to the end, but I really want to kind of save your detailed questions about specific things for your chance to have a one-on-one with folks. So the first week that we covered was really your conditional use permit process and how that hearing works. You have most of the conditional use permits are heard at the zoning administrator level. If they don't meet the distance requirements, they're heard at the planning commission level. There is an appeal process for that. You can modify your conditional use permit after you receive it to potentially change the uses depending on what your conditional use permit is for. And if you have any questions about this, our zoning administrator, Ms. Joy Patterson, is here. Your business operating permit approval process. So once you turn in your application to us, we review it for completeness. It's then routed out to a whole bunch of different departments, including fire, police, utilities, a number of other folks. It is reviewed by then and recirculated back to our office. This is the local part of the dual licensing requirement to sell, cultivate, or manufacture cannabis in the state of California. You can make changes to your application fairly easily prior to its approval. It's really just a matter of coordination and communication with our office. Security requirements. Your security requirements are approved by the Sacramento Police Department. Your security plan needs to be written by a security professional. If you refer to your security professional as your bro, probably not a good choice, and may cause delays in the review and approval of your application. All of your parts of your application, whether it be for your building department, building plans, your operating permit, should really be done by a professional if it's not something that you yourself can be done by. But the security requirements, all these need to be UL certified, and all of the requirements for camera video quality are all laid out in the code. If you don't know where to find it in the code, we can help you with that. Again, we have a couple members of the fire department here, including Senior Inspector Elizabeth McDowell, who can answer more in depth about these requirements. But the one thing I will say on this, when you're drafting your plan for your building permits or submittal, hire a fire engineer, fire protection professional to do that. That is one of the places where we have seen a number of folks falter because the people that are drafting their fire prevention plans really don't understand fire code and the uniquenesses of cannabis. So once you get all that submitted, again, finding the right design professional is a big part of it. And I'll just continue to say that communication with the various departments around what you need for your approval or where you are at in your construction goes a long way. Ultimately, you need to obtain a certificate of occupancy for your building. That is going to allow you to begin having customers in and having an operating a complete business operating permit that is functional and allows you to participate in the cannabis market. The previous two sessions that included presentations from planning, building, fire are all online on our website. The BOP approval process. Once you have obtained your conditional use permit, you're kind of put into two buckets of two categories. If you are what I would describe as a legacy operator, you are operating prior to legalization, and you've come forward and applied for a building permit. You're one of our registered cultivators. For example, your operating permit is going to be the last piece of paper that you get. We're going to use that to ensure that you are compliant with all of our fire code, all of our building code, everything that is necessary to operate a safe cannabis business. If your business is not operating, you would be eligible for, if you want to receive a non-operating business permit. It is really at your discretion. Otherwise, we will be issuing them once your application is complete. But if you don't want it, for example, and want to hold off because you are a ways off from operating, please let us know. Otherwise, people have wanted this for a variety of reasons. But ultimately, everyone is going to end up at the same place. They're going to end up with an approved building permit. They're going to end up with a certificate of occupancy and an approved business operating permit if they're going to be successful navigating the process. Just a quick look at the non-operational permit requirements. You do need to submit for your live scan. We do want to know who's involved and make sure that process is well underway. And that permit does have an expiration date on it. So even though it's non-operational, you need to decide if this is something that you really want and or need, because it will expire. So there are folks that are now in the renewal process for a non-operational permit, for example. There we go. I don't know what I'm supposed to say on that slide. It's just cute, though. I think our goal in all of this has been trying to help everyone get through all of the various steps, and our commitment from our office has been and will remain that we don't want to be your holdup. So if you've got your building permit, if you've done your construction permit, but you haven't heard back from us on your business operating permit, please communicate that with us so we can complete your review in a timely fashion. We don't want to be your holdup. We are here to help you operate a compliant and safe cannabis business. That really is our goal here. I certainly know that it has been a hang in there. A bumpy road. It's been a bumpy road for all of us. Glasses. Just some reminders around what's required. 20% ownership makes you an automatic interested party. I would go back and read the Prop 64 and the state regs around interested party if you're wondering about who to include and who not to include. You perhaps should consult an attorney. We cannot tell you who is an interested party within your organization and who is not, but there is certainly some language in there that is a bit maybe more dynamic, if you will, and not something that is a static definition of who this is. Life scans, get that done. If you know that you're going to be an interested party, you know that you're going to be a cannabis manager, you've got an application in with us, even though you are 6 months, 8 months, 9 months, 12 months, a year from completing your build out and all of that, go ahead and just get your life scan done. Get it out of the way. This is one of the things that, again, we're finding folks that aren't completing this, and they're literally getting to the point where, like, well, now I'm ready to operate, you know, my BOP application is complete, you know, why can't I have it? And sometimes the answer has been, well, you haven't completed your live scan, and that can take an amount of time. So just get that in, get it done. And then ultimately, once you get your CUP and get your building permit and do your build out, and you're ready to begin operating, whether you have a non-operational permit or otherwise, we're going to come through and do a final walkthrough. And that final walkthrough is going to include someone from our office. It's going to include someone from the fire department, someone from the police department. And this is going to be after someone from the building department has already gone through and said, yes, all the work that you have done on the inside of this building is what was on paper and in your plans, and you've received that certificate of occupancy. So once you have that certificate of occupancy, we're going to then come through and kind of do an operational walkthrough for your structure. We generally would like a week's notice on this, if at all possible. Of course, more time is always better. But again, we are here to be as accommodating as we can, knowing that we have to coordinate schedules with not just multiple people, but multiple departments as well. All right, I think I said that. So some things to expect on your walkthrough. Inspection of your vehicles for distribution or delivery. Don't expect that you're going to get approved to operate. Don't call for a walkthrough and we get there and it's like, well, but I still need to go buy my vehicles. Your vehicles are going to be one of the things that we're going to be taking a look at. So really, when you're ready to operate, that's when you should be giving us a call. Otherwise, a bit of a waste of everyone's time, and we're just going to have to come back and take a look at that. If you have questions about something in particular, please give us a call. We can try and come out and take a look before you're ready for a walkthrough. Again, we're here to help you operate a compliant and safe cannabis business. And then ultimately you'll be issued a cannabis operating permit. Orlando Blooms, oh, that's funny. There is a council call-up procedure, if you weren't aware, either your conditional use permit or the business operating permit for cannabis businesses that aren't required to have a conditional use permit, and of which there are two: small manufacturers with gross receipts of less than $100,000 and testing laboratories. Both of those can be called up by the council member. So in those cases, if someone submits an application for a testing laboratory or that small manufacturer, we would review their application, and then we're going to send a notice to the council member saying, we've received an application for this. Here's where it is. It's in your district. We're currently reviewing that. Upon completing our review, whether it's a yay or nay, we will then issue that operating permit, and then also let the council office know that we have issued that operating permit. They have 15 days after that to call up that operating permit and hear that item before the council, at which time it could be voted down. So if you are a testing lab or a small manufacturer with gross receipts of less than $100,000, it is absolutely worth at least a check-in, would be my recommendation, with the council member whose district you're in, of just saying, hey, here I am, here's what I intend to do, because they're going to learn about it from us. And I think, reaching out and making that introduction ahead of time may be beneficial. Quick overview on taxes. The city has a 4% gross receipts tax. It is collected monthly. Otherwise, here are the breakdown of the state's tax. If anybody has any questions about arm's length and non-arm's length transactions around how to calculate the excise tax, I'm happy to attempt to explain it. It's based on a assumed 60% markup currently, which is set by CDTFA. Otherwise, the cultivation tax is pretty straightforward. And then there's also excise. There's also sales tax on top of that. I get it. It's a lot when you add it all up. And then once you're operating, you'll receive an annual inspection. Kiona and Brian are here today, sitting in the back. They are two folks that will be coming through your cannabis business, looking for all the things that were, all the conditions of your CUP. They'll be looking for to make sure that you're operating compliantly within the state law, operating compliantly within city code, and meeting the conditions of your business operating permit. Security is a big one. Inventory management, I will tell you, is a big one, and is going to become a bigger and bigger issue as track and trace come into play. So if you haven't started learning about metric, if you haven't started implementing good standard operating procedures around inventory controls, that would be something that is potentially worth exploring, because inventory tracking is really going to become a key part of the compliance as it relates to cannabis. So right now we have inspections for businesses are set on a quarterly basis. They may also take place unannounced. I should remind you all that if you are operating a cannabis business in the city of Sacramento, if anyone showing up wearing a police uniform or a fire department uniform or a code officer uniform comes knocking on your door, the response is, "Hi, how are you? Come on in," because that is what you're required to do as part of the condition of your permit. Part of our code, you have to allow us entry into the facility. And if you don't, problems begin right then and there. You will be back. I can promise you that. And it ultimately may cost you your permit. So if someone shows up from the city of Sacramento, open up the door, we're here to help. And we may just be there for an ad hoc inspection. We might have received a complaint about something that is, totally unrelated or unconnected to your business, but someone alleges that it is. And we're here to confirm that, nothing illegal is happening. So if we knock on the door, please open up. Otherwise, you get a phone call from me. And then maybe a return visit from the police department. Renewals. Once you have your permit, please be prepared for your renewal. Do not dump your renewal packet on us the week before that it's due and expect us to process it in time. So in the interest of yourself and us, please give us enough lead time. Please give it to us at least 30 days in advance so that we can issue your renewal, complete that review prior to your permit expiring. We have added a late fee to provide a little bit of an incentive to you to turning it in on time. And again, a complete packet is very, very much preferred. Don't hand us one piece of this at a time, please. So things that you just want to take note of: if you have made any changes to the interior of your building or amended your security plan in any way, we would need an updated security plan. If you made any changes to the exterior of the building, all which require a building permit, we would need an updated lighting plan. And additionally, we may ask for additional conditions or amendments to your security plan based on any incidences that may have occurred over the last year. We are also going to conduct a review of your financial documents, so having complete tax returns for us to take a look at so we can accurately account for the reporting of gross receipts is going to be is essential as well. And most of you know how to get a hold of us. Does anybody have any questions for me per se? Awesome. Well, I think with that, I'm getting yelled at. That's okay. Want to take a break? Oh, we just started. Oh, all right. We need 10 minutes. No questions for me. All right. So we're going to take 10 minutes and move tables around, and we're going to come back. And with us today is the fire department, building department, police department, planning department, and our office here to answer any specific questions that you may have about your particular project. So thank you for coming, and look forward to chatting.
One quick question.
So we are currently in the process of writing the contract and issuing the award letter. So I hope to have that item come into council for contract approval in the month of March.
This month.
Yep.
Okay.
Cool. So on-site consumption can only take place at a dispensary. Our delivery-only dispensaries are not allowed to have on-site sales. So right now, the option, the potential option for on-site consumption is really at at one of the existing storefront dispensaries. The council or neither the policy committee have had that discussion yet. If that's something that you would like to have furthered, I would encourage you to reach out to your council member and ask when that discussion may happen. Otherwise, I think it's possible that conversation could happen at the policy committee this year. All right. Yeah.
When would you have the,
When would we have it on the website?
you don't?
When would we have?
Yeah.
No, it's already been approved by the council, so they just need to approve the contract because it's over a certain dollar amount.
So the ECRA program I see out there now is,
Yes.
okay. And then the,
What's being drafted right now, so it wouldn't be on a website right now. I don't know if contracts are published on websites. We certainly could. I mean, it's going to be a public document because it's going to go before the council for adoption. All right, so give us 10 minutes, so 9:15, and we'll be back here to answer all of your questions. Thank you.